We have another special guest of the MD, Bank of Industry, Pastor Kayode Ejo. We are blessed with the presence of CSO, Bank of Industry, Michael Adewumi. We have Assistant CSO, Bank of Industry, James Ogundipe. We also have the ADC to the MD, Ajibola Abdulwakil. Assistant ADC to the MD, Tokumbo Okelanfa. Regional Manager Southwest of the Bank of Industry, Mr. Michael Oye. We have Project Officer Oyo State Office, Ms. Funmilayo Jemileyin. We appreciate all of you for coming to celebrate with us. It is the 18th Convocation Ceremonies of Ladoke, and like I said, this is the Convocation Lecture. We are blessed to have with us Provost of the College of Health Sciences of this university, Professor Adenike Olubenga Bello. Professor Abel Ogunwale, by identifying the presence of the Dean Faculty of Pure and Applied Sciences, Professor Olusope Alade. Dean of Postgraduate School, Professor Jide Amao, we welcome you. Dean Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Professor Zacchaeus Adeyemo. Dean Faculty of Renewable and Natural Resources, Professor Wole Alamu. You are welcome, sir. We have professors, we have directors, but I want to recognize the Dean Food and Consumer Sciences, Professor Dapo Akande. We have the Dean of Environmental Sciences, a member of the 10th Council of the University, Professor Margaret Areo. We have the Dean of the Faculty of Art and Social Sciences, Professor Frank Ebijua. Let me introduce the Dean of the Food and Consumer Sciences Faculty, Professor Dapo Akande. Please be upstanding for recognition, sir. Dean of Agric, we welcome you, Professor Azim Ige. I would like to welcome in a special way a former Director of Internal Audit, Alhaji Olaiwola Oluwokere. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to this hall a very distinguished member of the Governing Council of this university, Professor Adejumo. Chairman, University Ceremonials Committee, Professor Jide Ajao, we welcome you. Members of the NYC who are here with us, please, we appreciate your presence and we thank God for bringing you here safely. At this point, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, another member of council I learned is here, Professor Mudashiru Owolabi. You are welcome, sir. Dean of Computing and Informatics, Professor Abigail Adetunji. We welcome you. We have a long way to go. I like to waste too much of our time, but let me quickly. I also want to recognize the presence of the Dean, Student Affairs, Dr. John Adewusi Adepoju. We would like to hear from the Chairman, Ceremonials Committee, before we call on for his welcome address. Mr. Vice Chancellor, the Chairman Ceremonials Committee has yielded the grant to the University Registrar, our amiable boss, Mrs. Olayinka Balogun, to give the welcome address.
Thank you. The Vice Chancellor, sir. You said I should give the welcome address. Before the welcome address, let me invite the Vice Chancellor to declare this event open. Thank you. Let's put our hands together for the Vice Chancellor, please.
The Deputy Vice Chancellors, other principal officers, members of council here present, provost and deans, members of Senate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I hereby declare the 18th Convocation ceremony open.
Distinguished dignitaries, we appreciate the Vice Chancellor.
Thank you. The Vice Chancellor, sir. The Deputy Vice Chancellors, the Bursar, and the University Librarian, my deans, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome us to this lecture. And let me just share something with us. It's going to be a very insightful, thought-provoking, and impactful lecture. And I don't want to do the work of whoever is going to say the vote of thanks. But let me just tell us that we were in the Vice Chancellor's office this morning, and our guest lecturer just, he just spoke for like 5 minutes. And I can tell you that he got all of us converted. Let's put our hands together for him. So, relax, Dr. Alex, that a time is coming when we are all going to get to where they are now, old age. But today, we have a list. He has spoken. He said so many things that at the end of the day, I was tempted to come here. And another thing he said that loans are available, I think 50 million to students. Ma, am I correct, ma? So I will go back to school so that I can be a beneficiary. Let's put our hands together for him. Thank you very much.
We need to be properly introduced to the convocation lecturer. And to do that, I'm honored to invite to the podium Professor Niyi Osunbade to come and read the citation of the convocation lecturer.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. While standing on established protocol, may I request Dr. Olusi to please stand and remain standing. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The Vice Chancellor, sir, the Deputy Vice Chancellors, other principal officers, all other dignitaries here present. Standing before this august audience is no other person than Dr. Olasupo Olusi. I hereby present him for the convocation lecture, but before the task ahead of him, I present a citation, which is a celebration of his exceptional recognition. Ladies and gentlemen, I present this citation in celebration of an exceptional son of Nigeria, a luminary of uncommon brilliance, and a steward of transformative impact, Dr. Olasupo Olusi. I beg your pardon. Much like a seasoned navigator who reads both the stars and the tides with precision, discerning shifting currents and charting pathways to safe harbors, Dr. Olusi has consistently demonstrated a rare depth of insights, navigating the intricate corridors of global finance. This highly intentional and international scholar of sterling pedigree earned his BSc Honors in Economics and Accounting at the University of Hull, United Kingdom, MSc in International Monetary Finance and Investments at the University of Durham, UK, and PhD in Economics at the University of Durham, UK. His academic background, interestingly, reveals that his intellectual rigor has long found global expression, making his academic and professional journeys to have been nothing short of illustrious stardom. With over 2 decades of distinguished service spanning continents and institutions, Dr. Olusi has etched his name in the annals of economic leadership and policy innovation. At the World Bank Group and the International Finance Corporation, he stood as a bridge between theory and practice, crafting solutions that uplift economies and empower nations on a global recognition. In Eastern Europe, in Southern Africa, in West Africa, his fingerprints are evident in politics, in the policies that have restored hopes, that have established systems, that have ignited growth. Notably, he served as the country economist of the World Bank Group in the US, senior private sector specialist, International Finance Corporation of the World Bank Group in the US, project manager and senior country economist of the World Bank Group between the year 2015 and 2023. What a long time of impactful leadership. Returning home to self, he brought this wealth of experience to bear in Nigeria's public sector, where he played pivotal roles in landmark initiatives that transformed lives of Nigerians. Of significance was his role as a special advisor to the Honorable Minister and National Project Director, Office of the Coordinating Minister for the Economy, and Honorable Minister of Finance, Federal Ministry of Finance, Nigeria, between August 2011 and 2015. Another long year of proactive leadership. He was also a member of Interministerial Committee on Stock Market Resuscitation, Abuja Securities and Commodities Exchange Fertilization Committee, and World Economic Forum on Africa, Abuja, in 2014. Today, as the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Bank of Industry, BOI, Nigeria's foremost development finance institution, with over $5 billion in assets and a workforce of about 700 employees, obviously larger than university employees, Dr. Olusi stands at the helm like a master builder, shaping the economic architecture of a nation and, of course, making poised impacts for greatness. He leads the executive management team of BOI in developing and implementing the bank's strategic vision and mandate. He also oversees the management of BOI's 4 subsidiaries, ensuring alignment with our mission, to drive sustainable development and economic growth in Nigeria. Under his visionary leadership, the bank continues to serve as a catalyst for enterprise, as a bridge between theory for enterprise, for innovation, for inclusive growth, touching countless lives and communities. Through strategic interventions of the Bank of Industry in sectors such as manufacturing, agro-processing, and small and medium enterprises, thousands of businesses have been empowered and countless jobs have been created in his role as MD, CEO, which has empowered him to create countless opportunities for thousands of businesses. And this further affirms Dr. Olusi's enduring commitment to a more humane, opportunity-driven, and society where prosperity is shared and dignity of labor is preserved. Today, we are not only here to listen to the convocation lecture. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also here to identify that Dr. Olusi is a man of quiet strength and commanding intellect. Of course, he is a respected voice in global economic circle, being a member and fellow of very many prestigious professional bodies, including member Royal Economic Society UK, member American Finance Association US, member Chartered Institute of Directors, fellow Nigerian Economic Society, fellow Chartered Risk Management Institute, fellow Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, etc. He was also an assistant professor at Durham University Business School, UK, from 2005 to 2007, where he was an exceptional champion of institutional excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not only here to listen to the convocation lecture today like I earlier hinted, we are here to learn, unlearn, and relearn about tech-driven productivity for economic growth in Nigeria from an international authority in economic development and transformation and productivity. This worldly embodiment of intellectualism is also to be celebrated for being a worldly beacon of excellence, integrity, impact, and an unstoppable legacy in motion, which he, Dr. Olasupo Olusi, metaphorizes. Distinguished audience, ladies and gentlemen, please let us loudly applaud and keep applauding these distinguished bilinguals. He is a professional in English and French, a trailblazing economist, a visionary leader, and a nation builder of distinction as I present him for the 18th Convocation Lecture of the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology. Thank you all for your rapt attention. You are welcome, our guest speaker. Thank you.
The Vice Chancellor, the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Professor Aro Rom Kalilu, Deputy Vice Chancellors here present, other principal officers of the university, notably the Registrar, the Bursar, and the University Librarian, Provosts of colleges, Deans of faculties, professors, members of the University Senate, heads of academic and non-academic departments and units of the university, lecturers, senior members of staff, the graduating class of 2026, and of course, greatest Takukites, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Also, let me acknowledge the presence of my people from the Bank of Industry here present with us. Good morning to you all. You know, sometimes when you hear your citation being read, in this occasion, I was wondering who they were talking about. But, you know, it is with the grace of God that we appreciate all that one has tried to accomplish in life. It is a privilege to stand before you today at the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, but more importantly, to stand before a room filled with Nigeria's next builders, thinkers, and problem solvers. I am deeply grateful to the Vice Chancellor and to the University Ceremony Committee for this honor, and it's one that I do not take for granted. I am also very delighted to be back in the ancient Yoruba fortress called Ogbomoso. I haven't been here in nearly 40 years, but this historic town still holds some fond memories for me and my friends, some of whom are here actually. And I also want to appreciate our KBSC, His Imperial Majesty, the Shon of Ogbomoso, who though is not here, but I want to acknowledge his warm hospitality because he called me and we discussed, and of course his prayers to me, both personally and professionally. Let me start by assuring you that I will not take too much time too much of your time today. What I have prepared is a simple and practical lecture for academics and non-academics alike, myself. But I have transitioned to the realm where theories are tested. And it is the ancient philosopher, the ancient Chinese philosopher, Confucius, who said, knowledge without practice is useless. Practice without knowledge is dangerous. And this is where I want to really appreciate the staff and students of the Ladoke Akintola University for all the work that they have done in practicalizing what they have learned in the classroom. The Vice Chancellor and the principal officers led me through an exhibition of the products that this university is churning out. And I must say, I was really, really impressed. It is amazing to see that these products, I'm sure that many of them will hit the markets in Nigeria very soon. I also want to thank the Vice Chancellor and the Chairman of the University Ceremonies Committee for giving me the luxury of selecting my own topic. You know, I don't always get that luxury because I get to do a lot of speeches, a lot of keynote lectures, and so on and so forth. And most times I'm given a topic to talk about. I remember that was once I was asked to talk about youth and substance abuse. And in my mind I was like, which kind of life is this? How will I now start to apply myself to a topic that is almost strange to me? But thank God we always rise to the occasion. Ladoke is an institution built with purpose, founded on a clear and deliberate mission to produce self-reliant graduates, to advance knowledge through rigorous research, and to apply technology to solve real-world problems. That mission is not only aspirational, it is directional. It speaks to what is supposed to define the continued relevance of this great institution to our nation at a time like this. It speaks to the kind of nation Nigeria must become if we are to compete, thrive, and lead in a rapidly evolving world. When a nation faces external aggression, it should turn first to its generals in the military. So much so, when a nation like ours needs technological solutions to our real-world problems, the nation should first turn to institutions like Ladoke. What is most compelling is that Ladoke has not merely articulated its mission, it has lived it to some degree. Consistently regarded as one of Nigeria's leading universities, including multiple awards as the best state university in Nigeria. Ultimately, the true measure of an institution is not what it says, it is what it produces. The truth, sometimes, is that what it produces can also change the world. We have seen the likes by the Nigerian Society of Engineers for its work on hybrid biodigester technology. We also have our own Honorable Minister for Solid Minerals, Dr. Dele Alake, another alumnus who is occasioned by technology-driven growth for national economic transformation is a national imperative. Grown, it is almost from the Ladoke Akintola. Despite everything Nigeria has going for her as a nation, that conversation has not happened at a pace that it should. We must pause and ask ourselves today, why as talent? That my answers will be exhaustive, but at least they will point us in the direction that we should look. But first, let me be clear about what I mean by productivity. Hard. Productivity is about improving output per unit of input. It is about value addition. It is about the value a worker, a firm, or an economy generates in yours and impact. And it is what separates thriving economies from that is blessed to be among the largest economies in Africa. And certainly within the next 20 years, going to be the largest, one of the largest in the world by population. Also, it has the largest youthful population with a median age of 18. We are endowed with some of the world's largest natural resources, reserves, gas and oil, arable land, and so on and so forth. We also have, by reason of our population, the largest domestic market in Africa. And of course, nearly everything we produce in Nigeria gets consumed internally. Our people are globally competitive when it comes to talent. You see Nigerian doctors, engineers, academics, and in Nigeria. But we are not converting these advantages at the rate that we should. According to the World Bank's World Development Indicators data, in terms of output and value addition, that figure is nearly 20%. In Malaysia, it is well over 20%. Take, for example, our yield in cassava, which is about 8 tons per hectare, while that of Indonesia is about 25 tons per hectare. Same crop, 3 times the output. On the input side, while we have talents, National Information Technology Development Agency needs 40% of production expenses. In a country, spend less than 20% of their costs. These are signs of a country that needs to better organize its comparable advantages and considerable strengths. What disruptive innovation as a proposition is the academic community offering to the government? We are our innovators. If technology solutions crash the cost of doing business, especially for the manufacturing sector, the prices of goods and services will also follow, and we'll see a dive down in inflation. I argue the case that it is onto institutions like Ladoke that Nigeria must look for technological solutions to our real world problems. After so long living outside the country, the solutions to Nigeria's development challenges are here in Nigeria, I can assure you that. A 2022 survey by the African Polling Institute found that quite a large number of Nigerian youth would leave the country if they could. That is troubling, and we must take that seriously. What this means in another 20 years, Nigeria's young people want opportunities that match their ambition. But the good news is that all of these are being fixed through the reform efforts of the present administration under the courageous leadership of His Excellency President Ogbomoso from recovery to results. So Nigeria's challenge, the challenge powerful tool for doing so. Now, the impact has been so significant that in January this year, the Central Bank of Nigeria upgraded the licenses of a number of fintech platforms from regional to national licenses. They had outgrown the boundaries regulators originally set for them. Nigeria's fintech story is one of the most exciting in the world of technology-enhanced growth. But the story is still unraveling. My joy will know no bound when I read in the months to come that the next payment platform that will challenge OPay, MoneyPoint, and all the others is a breakthrough innovation from institutions like Ladoke. This will be the best expression of the mission of this great citadel. Can we make it happen? I bet we can. Take also the micros in Nigeria that is now helping enterprises manage inventory, invoices, payments, and promotions from the comfort of a smartphone. Short period of time, say 2 months, and they save about 25 hours of manual work every week. That is technology driving productivity. In the agriculture sector, where the stakes and opportunities are enormous, and Nigeria records up to 50% post-harvest losses in some crop value chains. There are stories of real transformation happening in the country. For instance, in Isenyi, which is very close here, right here in Oyo State, a company called Kitovu uses satellite imagery holders champions represent, communicate directly with a farmer's phone, telling them exactly what their drones over farmlands, and those drones and where work. On simpler phones, farmers can photograph trained on thousands of farmers to finance, inputs, and markets through technology, and also reducing post-harvest losses. In each case, the pattern holds clear. Technology does not replace human effort. Nigeria's cocoa farmers produce about 350 per hectare. But what really gets our attention, the improved seedlings developed right here in Nigeria by our Cocoa Research Institute can produce 1,500 to 2,000 kilograms on that same hectare. That is 5 to 6 times what Nigerian farmers currently harvest from the same land and with the same farmer. The only thing that is changing, technology upgrade, seeds, soil across thousands of cocoa farmers, and you begin to see the scale of this country when you simply close the gap between what we do and what we know how to do across multiple sectors. According to Price, a young, vibrant, technically curious, to lead that transformation, technology to close these gaps is no longer locked away or just an idea. It lives in a photograph of a sick leaf and tell us within seconds what is needed. We are not a country that has to place next generation different and why we must continue to support them. New principle. For those who are economists, standardized parts and continuous flow. As a result of his efforts, production time dropped from 12 hours to 90 minutes per car. That is not a breakthrough in technology. It is a breakthrough in organization. And it's become the foundation of modern manufacturing. What Ford did for a factory, some countries have also done for their entire economies. When Singapore became independent in 1965, its economy was worth less than $1 billion. But its government deliberately invested in research and development and digital infrastructure, spending at least 2% of GDP on research each year. By 2023, GDP it achieved this by organizing its technology alone is not enough, and neither is technology. What matters is how intentional we organize both. That is what this lecture is about. It's not scale on its own. That is what I see in my work at the Bank of Industry. It's not a secondary consideration in economic development. It is foundational. Without it, talent and technology remain mere potential. But with it, they become productivity. Facilitating access to finance is the mandate of the Bank of Industry to support our national development through patient concession. Made a deliberate strategic choice at the bank to mainstream digital transformation and technology adoption as a core area of focus in our 2025 to 2027 corporate strategy. The logic is straightforward. If technology multiplies productivity, then development finance must be organized to accelerate technology adoption, both in building the skills of our young people and in equipping the enterprises they build. That is what we are doing exactly. First, as an institution, we are reorganizing ourselves to become more productive and to become better responsive to our customers. BOI is automating its own loan processes to reduce turnaround times and get capital to entrepreneurs faster. If we ask Nigerian businesses to adopt technology, we must do the same. I am happy to share with you that BOI's online loan application platform will be launched by the 1st of June 2026. And this will allow entrepreneurs financing companies such as the Russell Smith Group. This is the group led by Mr. Kayode Adeleke, whose father, I understand, was a former vice chancellor of this university. And it's also a very innovative enterprise within the manufacturing sector that Nigeria that's been supported by BOI. Russell Smith has spent the last 8 years building Nigeria's first industrial-scale 3D printing facility right here in Nigeria, producing certified small parts for oil and gas, defense, and heavy industries that we used to import from Germany, Italy, and China. These are parts that once took 6 months to arrive, but can now be produced domestically within Nigeria in under 2 weeks. That is what import substitution looks like when technology and patient capital come together. In the beverages sector, BOI is financing robotics and automated production lines that have enabled a third of supported businesses to begin management systems that international markets require. That is how technology is driving export promotion for Nigerian enterprises and creating jobs. But we are not focused on financing technology for value that leverage technology in each of the 6 thematic areas, namely MSMEs, gender, climate and sustainability, infrastructure, digital transformation, youth and skills, all under our 2025 to 2027 corporate strategy. For instance, under our sustainability theme, BOI has financed Nigerian companies that collect plastic waste across 21 states of the Federation. They process it into food-grade recycled raw materials using gas-powered operations and distribute it through networks of over 600 dealers, including to neighbor countries. In infrastructure, BOI is financing the deployment of rapid setup solar-powered mobile-based stations designed specifically for rural communities where traditional towers who use drip irrigation, precision input management, and collaborate and calibrate to each field soil's profile. 1 billion tomatoes are produced with an 81% female workforce. In each of these cases, the capital is not just financing equipment, it is financing and creates new jobs. BOI, with over 9,200 aspiring entrepreneurs who are impacted, that have been impacted, while over 950 startups. On behalf of the federal government of Nigeria, under the leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that over 600 million is providing equity in real grant investments into young or youth-led businesses in the digital space. This is an opportunity that Nigerians cannot miss. This is an opportunity that the young graduates from Ladoke University to support the economy at large and to support the emergence of more 3 million technical talent, 3MTT program, which was introduced in October 2023 and is being implemented by the Federal Ministry of Communication, the degree itself. To the graduates, I'm not sure how many of them are present here, but I want to say to you that the world that you are entering is changing fast. Artificial intelligence is reshaping how work gets done, and entire industries are being reconfigured within a generation. But you have an advantage. Unlike many Nigerian graduates, you have technological training and you understand systems that cut post-harvest losses out, not necessarily how much money. He prioritized production and everything else followed. Today, he's the richest man in the world. The third is to please apply your technology. The third is to please apply your technology. Apply your wisdom. Will be those who can cross boundaries using knowledge that they have actioned. Again, I want to emphasize, what are to solve renal problems, creating food to address diabetes, total innovation from people in food sciences, applying technology. And she needs me assured remotely. It will happen on farms,